Good morning, and I hope you're as excited as we are for today's practice session here at the Shanghai International Circuit. This 5.45 kilometre track provides both low-speed cornering and a long high-speed straight, a combination that will challenge even the most experienced driver. A warm welcome once again to the man standing beside me in the commentary box for this session, Anthony Davidson. Hello, Ant. Excited to get underway?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to seeing the cars get out there on track. They probably won't be on the limit immediately, of course. We know that one or two of the teams are looking to do some work on new aerodynamic packages, so that always takes some time to get into. But it'll be really interesting to see later on in the session what kind of performance gains are there to be found.
Test over, but I'm afraid we didn't get what we needed. We're going to have to run it again.
Hi, just letting you know that we've had the team's expectations through for the upcoming qualifying session.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
Moved you into P4.
Hello. I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long, though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, there's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you got turn 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Massa, Ocon, Hülkenberg, and Sergio Perez. A Haas, Stroll, Carlos Sainz, and Magnussen. Kvyat, Palmer, Fernando Alonso, and Stoffel Van Dorn, Ericsson, and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Focus now for the rest of the race. pits, Vettel in the pits. Is 2.7 seconds. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums. Strategy. Fuel target is +1. Faster engine modes are available. also is in the pit lane. Some information on Hamilton. They are out of the race. Yellow flag. Kevin has come into the pits. Kevin in the pits now. Understood, copy that. Some information on Ricardo. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car. Complete, go now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Engine mode, please. We're 2 laps over target on fuel. teammate is minutes, 13.9 seconds. 2.5 seconds. We've only got 2 laps of fuel left. That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Park Ferme.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Kimi Raikkonen, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Probably Danny Kvyat. The young Russian has a lot to live up to, and I think he did just that today.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. Meanwhile, Toro Rosso's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.